Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. North Bay police moved from manslaughter to murder in the death of a young infant earlier this year. Plus, we're learning more about the crime happening on Manitoulin Island.
What I wanted to do was provide a frame and a metric from year to year.
Wikwemicong police provide statistics and details on what they're doing to protect the community. And tough words aimed at Air Canada.
It makes no sense. No, it's no surprise that their loads are so small.
Nipissing MPP Vic Fideli weighs in on the airline's decision to pull out of the Gateway City.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Well, good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. North Bay police have upgraded charges following the death of a baby earlier this year. A 32-year-old man is now charged with second-degree murder, and a 31-year-old woman is facing 2 charges, including manslaughter. On January 13th, emergency services responded to a call in the Lavaz Road area. A 3-month-old child was in medical distress. The baby died 6 days later. A 40-year-old is charged with sexual assault and forcible confinement after an incident at the Algoma Treatment and Remand Center in the Soo this summer. Police say they were called July 9th after reports an employee had allegedly sexually assaulted inmates at the facility. The investigation found 2 victims were sexually assaulted on multiple occasions. One of the victims was also forcibly confined during one of the incidents. Wikwemicong police on Manitoulin Island are providing crime stats. They're the first since the Robinson-Huron Treaty per capita distributions were first issued last summer. CTV's Lindsay Alick has more on what the service is doing to ensure safety in the community.
In his fall newsletter, the Wikwemicong police chief provided stats that show since the funds were first issued, attempted murder is up 200%. Abduction is up 100%, drug possession is up 81%, and more.
What I wanted to do was provide a frame and a metric from year to year to see if there was any impact upon the community, the citizens here, and on the police service.
He says the stats are the results of the service building capacity.
We can't just say that we've attended and responded to all these calls, but we've been proactively with our community drug strategy, with our information situation tables that we've created, offender management program. We've initiated those things right here in the community. And what I find is they're having a drastic impact.
Ogama Tim Amanika says they knew the funds were going to be very impactful in the community, and as leadership, they tried to prepare as much as they could before.
We were aware of how much it may, but not really aware of how much it was really going to impact our community. I'm very proud of our First Nation police force, our Wiki Tribal Police, for them doing all the work that they have to do, and it was because of that additional source funding that we got from the government for a 10-year police agreement, which allows them to build the capacity to ensure that they are protecting our First Nation community to combat illicit drugs and the crime rates that are increasing.
The funding has allowed the service to double its officers to 30, and they're not done yet. The hope is to have up to 50 officers and civilian staff hired in the near future.
We need the full support of our community and our community leadership, and we have that. And we're working towards achieving great things in the times to come.
Janak says the increases are not just statistics. They represent the challenges families are facing, the risks that youth are encountering, and the pressures that ripple across Wikwemicong. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
New tonight, a warning from Public Health, Sudbury and districts. Toronto's drug checking service has identified 2 new substances circulating in Ontario's drug supply. The first is called N-propionitrile chlorophene, or cyclorophene. It's an opioid as strong or stronger than fentanyl. The other is called deschloromethyldiazepine. It's a benzodiazepine, also not approved for pharmaceutical use. Health experts say the use of them significantly increases the risk of overdoses. Multiple doses of naloxone may be needed. If you see someone, call 911, give naloxone and stay with them until help can arrive. Provincial police and their municipal counterparts have been working to encourage businesses and residents to register their security cameras as part of their database. The program is called CamSafe. It's a resource police can use when investigating crime or other offenses. Only police have access to the database. It provides a map of the area where there are registered addresses. It allows officers a way to examine camera footage by requesting it from the property owner. Police call the database a tool helping to reduce time and resources.
This is an advanced neighborhood watch. We're able to geofence an area and reach out to the registrants to see if they have any footage that captures the incidents that we're investigating. Not only that, when we're canvassing, it takes up a lot of time and labor hours.
Think of a missing person. If we have a missing person in an area like Birchhaven and we don't know where they went, we can quickly look at and reach out to the database, look for people that may have cameras and get that information to us quickly. And at least it gives us a direction of travel.
Interested community members are only required to provide basic contact information and camera locations. Nipissing's MPP is railing against Air Canada's decision to pull all flights in and out of North Bay's Jack Garland Airport. Expressing his disappointment with the airline, Vic Fideli stated the importance of having quality air service to a city like North Bay. Last month, Air Canada announced it was pulling all service out of the city at the end of January, citing commercial viability reasons. Fideli says Air Canada has a shortage of pilots and flight attendants, while at the same time not offering the right kind of service.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You need a morning flight and an evening flight to be able to have the system work. They have a noon flight out of Toronto and a 1 o'clock flight out of North Bay. It makes no sense. No, it's no surprise that their loads are so small. Put 2 flights back on; those flights were always packed.
Fideli adds that officials at the North Bay Airport are trying to find a replacement airline for Air Canada. The United Chiefs and Councils of Manitoulin Police has its first ever Deputy Chief of Police. Effective next Tuesday, Dan Tapati will take on the newly created role, working alongside Chief James Killeen. Tapati comes from the Greater Sudbury Police Service, where he's worked for the past 27 years, including as the Divisional Commander of the Community Safety and Wellbeing Division. There is movement in the labor dispute between the Timmins transit staff and the city. Following negotiations, the City of Timmins and CUPE Local 1544 have reached a second tentative agreement. Members must still vote on ratification. If that happens, the deal will then be sent to City Council for approval. Timmins Transit service has been halted since the workers went on strike September 29th. Service will resume once the contract is finalized. The North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority has issued an advisory about low water level conditions across the watershed. It says it's upgrading to level 2 conditions after stream flow across the watershed has continued to measure low. Level 2 means a potentially serious water supply problem based on precipitation and stream flow criteria. The Conservation Authority says it will continue to monitor the conditions, but warns of submerged hazards being closer to the surface in some areas. Residents are encouraged to reduce water consumption. Sad news out of Sault Ste. Marie this week. Longtime Huron Superior Catholic District School Board trustee and former City Councillor Gary Trembinski has died. Trembinski was a trustee for 11 years and also served as board chair. He was a founding member of the Queen Street Cruise. Trembinski also served on Sault City Council in the 80s and 90s. Gary Trembinski was 68 years old. The Ontario government is providing a couple $1 million to create internship and work experience for job seekers across Nipissing. More than $2 million will go towards 68 internship opportunities at companies and organizations, including small businesses, not-for-profits, post-secondary institutions, and manufacturers. One of the placements to be funded will be for a scheduler at Metricade, a doctor scheduling technology firm managed in North Bay. Working with clients, the scheduler will connect patients with doctors, helping to improve patient care at hospitals in Canada, the U.S., the U.K., Italy, and Australia.
So we want to make sure that physicians, when they're scheduled, are scheduled in a way that it fits the needs of the department, but it also really is meeting the needs of the physicians. That's hugely impactful because it takes that stress off of those physicians. Funding is being provided through the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund's Workforce Development Program.
Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Rick will have your full weather forecast. For now, look at the current conditions, and we've got lots of cloud cover right across the region, except in around Elliott Lake and Gore Bay. That's drizzle you're seeing up in Kapuskasing. Also, a storm is making its way in around the Wawa-Chapleau areas. 13 in Sault Ste. Marie, 10 in North Bay, 8 in Timmins, 8 in Timiskaming Shores. We'll have details coming up in a moment.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Lots of rain in northeastern Ontario for this evening, as you're about to see that system hovering over the northeast in some key areas like Sudbury, North Bay, Gore Bay, Parry Sound, and parts of Algonquin Park and Timiskaming Shores. But again, that rain, that heavy rain, will dissipate, and then we'll get a bit of a break in the action, as you can see by Sunday 3 a.m. Some clear conditions, then another system moving in a little bit later on. But let's take a look at some of your numbers now as to what you can expect. Sudbury Nickel Belt for tomorrow, chance of drizzle and showers ending in the morning about 15, 16 Sunday, sun and cloud. Monday, no rain, sun and cloud. Thanksgiving Monday at 16, 13 Tuesday, chance of showers, more of the same Wednesday, and a high of only 9. Cooling trend by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, before the warm-up once again in just about a week's time. Meanwhile, a look at Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, chance of showers and drizzle for tomorrow at 15, 17 Sunday, sun and cloud. Monday, sorry about this, in the Sioux and Algoma. Some sun, some cloud, and the chance of showers at about 40%, 16 your high. Tuesday, chance of showers at 10. Wednesday, also 10 degrees, sun and cloud. Thursday, some sun and cloud, and 11. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of showers and drizzle for tomorrow, high of 13. 18 Sunday, sun and cloud. Monday, no rain, sun and cloud with a high of 19. Tuesday, chance of showers and 10. Only 8 Wednesday with the cloud, warming up to 9 degrees on Thursday with more cloud cover. And again, that is below normal. Just a couple of days ago, we were talking about conditions that were above normal. In this case, they will go below normal. Timiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake. Chance of showers and drizzle tomorrow, 15, 18 Sunday, sun and cloud. Monday, sun and cloud as well at 18. Chance of showers for a couple of days, Tuesday, Wednesday, 12 and 9. Take a look at the evening lows, 1 for 3 consecutive nights. Thursday, we've got sun and cloud and 10 degrees. Again, that temperature below normal. North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of showers and drizzle tomorrow, 15, 16 Sunday, sun and cloud. Monday, no rain, sun and cloud on Thanksgiving Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, chance of showers both days, 14 and 8, before the warm up to Thursday, sun and cloud at 10 degrees. So, Ian, get ready for Thanksgiving, of course. The family is up from where you live, and again, it should be a good one, at least weather-wise. Back to you.
It's going to be a great one. Happy Thanksgiving, Rick. Well, new questions are being raised about the millions of dollars handed out under a provincial skills development fund, and photos that show Ontario's Labour Minister at events with those who stood to benefit. CTV's John Woodward reports.
It was a nail-biter overtime game in January 2023, Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Florida Panthers. And then,
working wider for Higgy to the net. What a beauty!
Forward William Nylander slips as he celebrates, and right above that, these fans were spotted by a Leafs photographer at their rinkside seats. That's David Piccini, at the time Ontario's Environment Minister. Next to him, Peter Zacharow. Zacharow, in a way, also scored. He's a listed board member of a company called Keel Digital Solutions that trained peer support workers for police officers. That company got at least $2.7 million from the Skills Development Fund the following year when Piccini was overseeing it as Labour Minister. Records show lobbyist Michael Rutherham represented Keel. Rutherham got married in Paris this month, something that came up Wednesday on News Talk 1010.
I'm looking at a headline in the Trillium.ca that was just handed me. Ontario Labour Minister attended lobbyist's wedding after granting his clients millions in training funds.
Look, I mean, I don't control private sector decisions on who hires whom to represent them. But what I can say to you is I don't need a lobbyist to tell me to support first responders.
The province's opposition NDP says that's another insider connection, like those to a casino, a bakery and bars, in a fund that Ontario's Auditor General found gave around $750 million in grants via political staff, overruling nonpartisan bureaucrats.
Not fair transparent, or accountable.
A ministry spokesperson told CTV News Minister Piccini is a lifelong sports fan who purchases his own tickets to games. In 2023, he was serving as Minister of the Environment, Conservation and Parks and wasn't responsible for any Skills Development Fund money at the time. They added Minister Piccini traveled to Europe for a long-planned private family trip. While abroad, he attended a wedding. Expenses associated with both were paid by him, and he stayed at a different hotel than where the wedding took place. Saying the minister's company in these seats at this game doesn't mean they're on the same team. John Woodward, CTV News.
Canada Post mail delivery is set to resume tomorrow, but don't expect business as usual. Striking postal workers are shifting to rotating walkouts as talks drag on, and a deal remains out of reach. CTV's Beth McDonnell has more from the letter processing plant.
Do we like the color arrangement?
Yes. For 11 years, Province of Canada owner Julie Brown was a loyal Canada Post customer. She used the service to ship up to 1,500 orders a month for its unbeatable pricing and reach across the country. She even stayed with Canada Post after last year's strike before the holidays. But with so much uncertainty since, she's taking her business elsewhere.
I hate to do it, if I'm being honest. We love our Canada Post, the people we work with. I mean, we have just great people throughout the years. Normally, they're so reliable and so great and can really do the job so well. So it's a shame that we're here again.
Canada Post negotiate! Starting tomorrow, Cup W, the union representing 55,000 employees, says mail and parcels will be moving again, ending its national strike and moving to rotating strikes. That means postal stations, letter carriers, or a processing plant will take turns going on strike. It could be in Toronto one day, somewhere out east, or out west another, which the union says will cause headaches for management.
Community senior groups have been speaking up. Mayors have been speaking up. They want postal services to continue on, the ones they have. But we are postal workers. What we do best is deliver mail, and we're returning to keep this Canadian economy going.
The return to work without a resolution to the labor dispute is thanks not only to the company's steep decline over the past 15 years, but also denial from the union, says this professor who studies the Crown Corporation.
They're finally realizing that their leverage is declined precipitously because millions of Canadians are no longer using the post office.
He says the former Liberal government and management has been in denial too. Just over 2 weeks ago, Ottawa allowed Canada Post to make changes to the business before a deal was reached with the union, which caused workers to walk off the job. While rotating strikes are somewhat of a relief to Brown, she hopes the two sides can get to a good place because small businesses want stability.
This adds so much to our workload when these things happen. And as a small business, there's been so much going on this year that this just pushes us over the edge, especially during the holiday season.
Canada Post says it welcomes employees back and postal service will begin to resume next week. But uncertainty and instability will continue because of the rotating strikes. And as a result, all service guarantees will be suspended.
Still ahead tonight on CTV News. What a night it was for two of our three OHL teams. We'll check out the scores when we come back. It was a busy night in hockey for our northern teams, and what a night it was at GFL Memorial Gardens, even as the visiting Kitchener Rangers got off to an early lead.
Getting into Ranger territory, Mignosa got as far as the corner, puck taken away from him, but the Greyhounds get it right back. Reed with a shot, he scores!
Chase Reed finds the back of the net halfway through the third period to put the Hounds back into the game and tie it at 4 apiece. Overtime would be needed for this one. Sault Ste. Marie's third so far of the season to decide the winner. And it would be Quinn McKenzie with the big winning goal, his second of the night, helping Sioux to a 5-4 overtime victory. The Hounds trailing at 1.3-0 to come back from behind for the win. Go Hounds go. Meanwhile, while out on the road, it was a great night to be a Battalion fan as North Bay faced off against the Storm in Guelph. 2 goals tonight from Lyra Memedovsky and a goal and an assist from Bronson Rod helped the troops to a 5-2 win. Tough night, though, for Sudbury. They were in Brantford taking on the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs' bark was just a little bigger. Sudbury falls 6-0. In a battle of the Sioux, it was the Thunderbirds who come out on top in Sioux, Michigan. They win tonight in the lone NOJHL game, 5-0. The Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs open permit purchases this October for the upcoming season, and it'll be at the same price as last year. CTV's Madison Merrier has the story.
According to OFSC, expenses have increased from around $17 million in 2021 to around $27 million in 2025.
We had historically operated around 30,000 kilometers of trail. This year we will operate about 25,500 kilometers. And what that will mean is we're looking at removing trails that have historically been unavailable to permit buyers.
Trails all over Ontario have been condensed, but in Sudbury's district, around 150 to 200 kilometers have been removed across 10 clubs in the region.
We're trying to concentrate our permit dollars and permit revenue into the trails that are most frequently ridden.
It was handpicked of ones that the ridership weren't using as much or other factors, but so we're down to about 1,500 kilometers now.
Erkmeyer says that the biggest expense to the volunteer operation is the cost of materials like steel and trail maintenance. Last year, they groomed over 750,000 kilometers.
I think the grooming's actually going to be better this year coming up because we can put our efforts into the trails that really matter and the ones that have the most ridership. So I think overall, it's going to be a more positive experience for the rider.
It would take, a dozen year plus for your average snowmobiler to ride our entire network, and most never endeavor to do that. So I think those that actually do go out and try to ride the whole province over a number of years do appreciate that we have trails that just don't have the same value.
Erkmeyer says the cost of the season is weather dependent. The more it snows, the more permits will be purchased, allowing OFSC to combat the rising cost of goods, putting a strain on the organization. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Eichmeyer also says that the North leads this south in trail availability and favorable conditions. However, Southern Ontario subsidizes the North in permit purchases. In our region, Eichmeyer says Timmins sells the most permits at around 6,000 to 7,000, followed by North Bay with 5,000 to 6,000. Sudbury sells 5,000, and Sault Ste. Marie sells 2,000 to 3,000 permits. Well, hiking in Sudbury is about to get a whole lot easier. Today, the Rainbow Routes Association shared details about its updated trail map with new features like trail difficulty, parking information, and washroom accessibility. CTV's Amanda Hicks reports.
The Rainbow Routes Association shares details about its new trail guide. It's the group's first update in a decade. The old map featured 28 trails, while the new guide charts more than 40, including paths like the Jerry Montpellier Trail and the Big Nickel Trail.
I think it's going to bring people together and realizing what have you completed, what have you done, and even our social media when we've been focusing on Trail of the Week since we've been working through updates. We've had many people say, oh, I had no idea that the Hillfield Trail was right there and lively. It's right in my backyard. I've never used it. So really just educating the community members to say you're a stone's throw away from your local trail.
The new system includes features like trail difficulty, address, accessibility level, even details about local wildlife.
We really wanted to show the community what trails were easier and what trails were harder, just so you could kind of plan your route. So we have that included. We have things such as where to park. A lot of our community members currently call now and say, how do I get to the trails and where can I park? Because the information just isn't out there yet.
I live with low vision, and so the Rainbow Routes really brought me in to walk some of the trails and talk about the accessibility for people with disabilities. So for me, I was able to bring that blind experience in, and having a disability studies background.
The project was made possible by a $97,000 seed grant from the Ontario Trillium Foundation, one of 730 grants provided across the province to nonprofits meeting specific criteria.
Community engagement as well as exercise and just being part of helping out the community and involving the community in different things, and Rainbow Routes filled all those criteria.
In the meantime, Rainbow Routes is gearing up for its annual Oak Forest guided hike this Thanksgiving Monday. The event kicks off at 2 p.m. at 1127 Bancroft Drive. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Finally for us tonight, a quick programming note to let you know about involving Monday. Join me on Monday for a CTV special presentation. We'll be broadcasting from French River, showing you some of our favorite good news so far of the year. It's a half-hour program that will be airing at 6 o'clock and then again at 11:30. You'll see some maple syrup, shania, even a feature we did on one special municipal politician. We hope you'll join us. For now, that takes us to the end of our newscast this Friday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. On behalf of all of us at CTV Northern Ontario, we hope you have a happy, healthy, and safe Thanksgiving weekend. I'll see you Monday in French River, and we'll be right back here at the desk on Tuesday with your nightly news. Until then, thanks for watching. Good night.